YouTube is censoring the word Christian. This is huge. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, bringing you the obvious, and today on Twitter.com. So, this is pretty much big news. It would seem that the overlords at YouTube are censoring and discriminating against one entire religion, Christians, on the YouTube. Now, as many of you all know, this is a Christian board here on this channel, Mr. Obvious, and we uphold values like truth and freedom. So here it says, Chad Robichaud, Chucks. Is it Chalks? Is it Chew? I mean, I know it's French. We ran a YouTube ad for our Veterans Ministry outreach for those in need, and it was denied for the word Christian. Insane! Hashtag censorship should terrify every American, conservative or liberal, Christian or Muslim. The bias is dangerous course for America at Mighty Oaks FDN. So, here is your evidence that Google Ads banned the word Christian. Here you can see, potential policy violation. The following keywords violate Google Ads advertising policies. Please remove the unacceptable content to continue. Unacceptable content as keyword. Christian. Can you believe that we live in the day and age where Christianity, the most nerfed, honestly, kind of sad religion on earth, okay? These are people that have become such hippies that they refuse to defend themselves, and everyone walks over them. Everyone tells them, you can't criticize us. That's not Christian. Like, it's the most bullshit thing ever. Like, it's the most nonsensical thing ever. Okay, have you read the Bible, much less the Bible? Okay, because I read it. Well, you know, I usually get bored after the Egypt arc, and if you read the beginning, you'll know that a lot of stuff went down. It was pretty bad. It doesn't really paint the whole deity thing in a good light. But people are like, well, we have Christianity now, and that means we can just pray for forgiveness and nobody goes to hell, which is ridiculous. I mean, have you seen the end of the Bible? Because I read that too. Okay, it's like the beginning. Death, decay, and destruction. Punishment, as it were. Now, before we look into this further, just a reminder, you can find links to my Patreon and Subscribe Star down below in the description. Help me fight demonetization. Be sure to check out my affiliate link as well as my social media links. Be sure to follow me on BitChute. So let's take a look at this. So this tweet currently has 5.7 thousand retweets and 9.5 likes. Not enough if you ask me. So, Romulan Warhawk says, social media platforms aren't like public town squares. Wrong! You are bound in their terms of service. If you don't like it, make your own platform or just don't use them. So it's perfectly okay to censor people, isn't it? Douglas Bagwell says, that's not true. Legally speaking, they're viewed as town squares. The problem is these platforms behave like a publisher, which aren't town squares, while calling themselves platforms, which are public town squares. Preach it, brother. This man is telling the truth. Social media companies are full of crap. If they're platforms, they're free speech, and they're public squares. If they're publishers, which they act like, which they do by censoring content, promoting some content, discriminating, and violating everyone's freedom of speech, and yet they want the protection of a platform while being a publisher. This is absolute nonsense. It has to stop, and social media needs to be brought down a peg right back to equality with all of us. Crispy Pie Critter says, yes, the masters of the universe use semantics to get around the censorship issue. Just like Obamacare wasn't and then was a tax. They can't have it both ways. We need the antitrust laws to kick in big time. So here Linda says, Dems truly are anti-American, anti-Christian, anti-law enforcement, anti-conservative. Did I leave any out? You forgot anti-white. We are all being played. Divide and conquer. If they keep us fighting with each other, we will never fight the true enemy, the establishment. So, of course, Google doth protest to this, and @Team YouTube reply directly to them, but it's actually very interesting. Let's look. Team YouTube says, we know that religious beliefs are personal, so we don't allow advertisers to target users on the basis of religion. Beyond that, we don't have policies against advertising that includes religious terms like Christian. So here we have YouTube itself saying that we don't censor people. We don't cover up the truth. Very interesting. What did Chad Robichaud have to say in response? We ran the same ad with the keyword Muslim, and it was approved, but Christian was not. Additionally, we've ran ads with the keyword Christian for years. This year alone, we had 150,000 expressions on the words in our ads. As per your support line, this is a new restriction. So YouTube denies it. YouTube denies any wrongdoing. But here we have a screen cap, okay? Here you can see an Apple computer. You can see his toolbar. You can see the date and time. You can see everything. And here we go. Google Ads, new campaign. So it looks like Google will even ask you what your demographics you want, what audience you want, and then it lets you choose keywords. Muslim was approved, Christian was not. And this comes after, wasn't it Pinterest that was banning Christian content and they got caught? Project Veritas exposed their asses, and then YouTube took down the video about them censoring the word Christian. And now here we have Google itself and YouTube itself censoring Christian. I mean, I would define irony, but isn't it kind of obvious by now? It's getting kind of, it's getting old, honestly, the blatant lies. So We Are Trolling says, file a discrimination lawsuit. I absolutely agree. Lawsuits and government oversight are the only language that these big tech companies understand. Lewis says, this is clearly an assault on Christianity. All should be worried. It starts there and just gets worse. This user says, primary owners of YouTube and Twitter are... ... I wonder who they could possibly be talking about. I don't know, but it's probably just a coincidence. So I want to look at the replies to YouTube itself just to see what people are saying, because it seems like more people have noticed the blatant censorship. Okay, so this is the first reply. And John G says, newest response from YouTube, silence. So he showed them direct proof that they're censoring Christians. But YouTube won't respond when confronted with it. So Joe has a really good point here. 3/4 of the US population and 1/3 of the world's population are Christians. If you go by what you see on YouTube and Google, you would think it was 5%. You see, why do they hate Christianity? I'm not religious. I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in any deities. But I find it very interesting that Christianity, which has become one of the more peaceful religions, is actively being waged war upon. They're coming after it. They're trying to destroy it. Why could that possibly be? Is it because there's some sort of cultural Marxist agenda in society to wipe out traditional values? Goodness, being like promoting life that is not full of sin. I really have to wonder. And I honestly think if I became a preacher, I'd be a pretty kick-ass preacher. They Call Me Gator says, but you let imams post videos and preach about Muslim religion, or have you removed all those too? SysG says, lies. My Christian channel was never monetized, even after 1 year, with almost 1 million views. YouTube censors Christian content, but is happy with all the Muslim content. And that's directly from people on the platform. So when YouTube is saying one thing, oh no, Google, oh no, we don't censor anybody, but the users of the websites of both Google and YouTube find the same censorship, then what the heck? Cosmic Pistol Star says this is discrimination. Ben Gunain says, so how are religious channels supposed to grow if you won't let them advertise to their target audience? That's a very good point. Now, I've never mentioned this before, but religion really is just a memeplex. You can find most of them in occult books. It's the same kind of thing. You use circular logic, repetition, and fancy terms. Deity, the all, some unknowable big mystical power, whether that be some deity or something else. You repeat it, you rephrase it, you use circular logic, you lead back to the same conclusion. Before you know it, you're brainwashed. All you can think about is this fancy terminology, which is probably meaningless, and then you want to spread the word. Isn't it weird how if you get indoctrinated into religion, all of a sudden you want to convert everybody? Conversion is literally a psychological process used in mind control. Now, I know a lot about the subject and could really get into it, but this isn't really the time. I'm just mentioning it because it's important and relevant. So here this user says, how to APPL. But at YouTube is quick to remove anti-Muslim speech, but does not take down anti-Christian speech. We can argue all day, but hashtag censorship is obvious on these platforms. Even though I'm a YouTuber, it's still obvious, especially towards conservatives. Gibbs says, this is how a virtual monopoly can bully opposing views, then preach fairness and equality with a straight face. What a joke. Now, it's obvious there's an agenda here, and it's quite obviously aimed at Christians. I mean, I don't think you can deny it at this point. It's really suspicious that YouTube would back Pinterest, who is also censoring Christian content, and then that YouTube and Google would come out and deny that there's been any violations. But it's staring us right in the face. How can you ignore it? I think it goes without saying that there's a war against Christians and that these big tech companies are lying and absolutely pushing some sort of agenda. An agenda to censor ideas they don't like, including Christianity. But that's merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. Just a reminder, you can follow me on Patreon or Subscribe Star for as low as $1. Doing so will get you access to Fight Club, a private Discord server. There are different tiers and you can choose whatever you wish. There's also PayPal options. If you want to show some support by buying a physical product, I suggest you look at my affiliate link down below. Magnetic MacBook Pro covers. Protect yourself from spies and hackers. Lastly, because websites are no longer promoting red-pilled content, and because this content is surely going to have Christian in the title and in the video, you can help out by posting videos you enjoy or think are important on social media. As always, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.